right, welcome back to Season 2 of Hicks
Season
Racing
2.
Podcast. Sponsored by Woody's Ale House and Grille, Hicks RV Repair, MKS Moto Kicks. Make sure you get your Moto Kicks.
Hoosier Northeast.
Yep, Hoosier Northeast, Wax Racing, and Fly Racing. We've got a bunch this season. So this is Season 2. We haven't been on for most of the winter.
Well, I don't think for any of the winter.
Yeah, for any of the winter because we've kind of been hermits.
It's been a pretty. We've been hanging out here. It's been also had some crazy stuff happen this winter. So
we've just been kind of recuperating.
Our original plan was to be on a once a month show with interviews, and it just didn't happen.
I think we got we did so much last season, and then we finally stopped, and we were like, "Oh,
yeah." And I think it got. I think it just kept snowballing. We put it off, and then it just we talked about it, or we didn't get this person for an interview, and then it just ended up just not doing them. So
So our plan this season is to obviously continue each week and recap what's going on, as well as do a couple interviews this season with a couple people we have lined up. So this episode, we're just going to talk about probably the past month-ish.
Yeah. Yep.
About what's been going on. Obviously, we're early in the season yet.
I knew a couple.
Yeah, so we started out at Tomahawk a couple weeks ago. What was the first weekend? Actually, February. End of February, we were at Tomahawk.
Yeah.
For practice.
Oh, yeah, the practices. Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Well, you've done a couple practices.
I went down, me, Brock, and Matt went down 2 day trips on Sundays.
Clarification, it's Brock Rupert and Matt Jackson.
Yeah. 2 day trips on Sundays down to Tomahawk to ride.
Yeah, because you didn't want to take the camper, which is fine. But
well, I don't think it had nothing to do with that. It wasn't planned. We just planned like that.
Because you said you want to go, and I was like, no.
Yeah, they got hold of me like on Friday and said, "Hey, let's go down." So it was just there was no big plan in place. So
that's a lot of driving.
It was 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours each way.
Well, by the time each time we stopped and picked Brock up on the way, so that actually turned into more like 5.5 hours of the driving. But
so we got some good practice. I want to say
it was worth it, but the track was never all that great when we were there for them.
But is that because of the track or because it's the middle of winter?
A lot of it was. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I have reservations anyway.
I mean, we can talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Just after being down there for the qualifier and stuff and the muddy mess it was, I don't know. To me,
so let's get into that a little bit. So the first Loretta's qualifier was
end of March.
It was March 24th.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yep.
At Tomahawk.
Yep.
We got there. You took off Friday.
Night.
We got there Thursday night. It was an absolute miserable mess the whole weekend.
Well, and miserable mess. I mean, one thing if the track takes time to prepare for the weather they're gonna get. My issue is, and this goes right back to the Loretta Lynn money grab to begin with. That we participated in it and we do it willingly, but they're still being. You're charging $45 a person to get in there just because it's where I'm on.
And that's to clarify. That's up to the track because every track might charge something different.
So they do nothing different with the grounds. I mean, to me, if you want to be a Loretta Lynn host, you would think you'd take the time to make decent parking grounds. I mean, it was literally a mess. I mean. We were there fairly early, and there was campers spread everywhere, and we pulled in there, and it was, the grounds were already, everything's at an angle. There's really no even good parking there isn't flat. Basically, I mean, they have dozers and stuff. Take an off season, take a few months, and make some nice flat parking when you know you're going to have so many camper, when you have all these campers. So we pull in there and you go up the side, one of the side hills, and we got it quickly enough where it wasn't super muddy, but we still got ice. We just ended up spinning our way to get where we
Mm-hmm.
were. And then it wasn't, I mean, and from like there on,
And that was it. We were there.
from there, yeah, and from there on, campers were literally just sliding into a spot, and there they
That was
were.
it. Yeah.
And they were everywhere. Like you were
Yeah.
parking. I mean,
And
it
there
was
was no
just,
way to get out.
it
If that's
was,
an emergency, you were fucked.
I don't, yeah, it was, really just to me, it was insanity. It was just, I don't know, insanity might be a little harsh because I don't want to dramatize it, but it just didn't make much sense to me. When you're charging $45
Right.
for land that it's already been, you know,
Mm-hmm.
paying and paying and paying. I mean, like
I
I said,
also think, and that qualifier might have been different just because of the weather, but I think at these events that they should park you because people park
I agree.
stupid, and I'm also not saving spots for your 14 friends. Like I'm
Right.
not either.
And
I'm not
there's literally
saving spots for
no,
anyone
and
either.
there's literally there's other racetracks you go to where they literally say when you go in there that if you want to park with
Right.
somebody, that person needs to be with you. You
But
need
then
to
that
pull in
person
together.
literally takes 15 chairs and marks out
Right.
like
That's like I
7
said,
acres.
they want, a lot of tracks will say if you want to park next to somebody, have them be with you next in line and you guys
Yeah.
pulling next to each
See,
other.
that's how I feel about
So,
it. Like that's such a
especially
big
there
event.
again, especially they knew they had weather, they
Mhm.
knew how their grounds are. They should have been prepared to
Yeah.
start parking people orderly fashion. Like there was no rows left open for people
No.
to get in and out.
No.
Nothing. I mean,
And I mean, you were trying. That was the
right,
weekend we
and
lost water in the camper.
yeah, this shit show started from Thursday and went right on to
Yeah,
Sunday. I
because
mean,
when
I
did we lose
100,
water?
uh, sometime Friday night, we had a water line. Well, my water line, the pressure washer, um, came apart and pumped 110 gallons of fresh water on the
Yeah.
ground, and there was just first off, they don't offer any even close to fresh water. The only
So
water they offer is muddy pond water.
which I understand that they might not have. If they do have, if a track does have fresh water, it'd be like, you know what, $20,
Well,
you can fill
here's
60
well,
gallons.
here, hey, I know, we don't want to offer 1,000 spigots, but here's 2 spigots that you can get fresh water from.
Right.
And how then if you got to use jugs or whatever. But like they were only offering muddy pond water for pressure washing. I mean, they had spigots there. They have RV hookups. Why not
Right.
have, and why not have a couple that are open?
Right.
And I understand if not monitored correctly, you'll have people that just sit there with a pressure washer hooked to them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
you don't have no problem monitoring for wristbands. So monitor to keep your.
well, but they had
spigots
a
open.
station for pressure washing bikes.
Yeah, they did a couple of them. Yeah. But I
So-
just.
No,
don't
I
know,
agree. But
just-
here's the next thing: is we didn't have a way of doing it anyway because your truck got stuck.
Truck was.
So like we couldn't even
this
refill the bladder that
truck
we had.
was blocked in. I could have got in and out, but the battery. So when we pulled in there, we pulled in an orderly. Horizontally to the road above us, and then vertically the road in front of us, where we should have been able to unhook, and then if we need to, we pulled out, went down the road. Well, once somebody pulled in, and that's where
Got
where
stuck.
it all slid to a stop, and they just called it good.
I mean, we saw one person they had bring a piece of equipment and help them.
2 or 3 they pulled that, and pulled out. That was Friday.
Right.
I don't know. It just that really and like I said, then that led to me to the and I'm just fine with the track getting rough and ruts. Well, let me finish. And hard and difficult and technical, but it's just the way they prep. It's just to me, it was a Friday's practice with the rain or anything. Just the way that the track, it's literally a foot of muddy, sawdusty slop.
What else could they have done to prevent that? Like
I think they've just, and this is just my opinion, so take it as it is.
Right. No, I'm just curious.
They've just put so much mulch and sawdust down on that track that it's just, I don't know. There's no dirt left. It's just mulch and sawdust you're
Like it's
riding
just
on.
soggy and soppy.
And I don't, not trying to hate on the track. It's still
It was a shit weekend.
It was a
It was
shit weekend, and I think yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they did what they I don't know. Like even the Sunday, the weekend practice we were there, and we were there on a Sunday, and I think a lot of our people that are listening saw pictures of it. We were there that for that Sunday when it was when it was just ruts for like the entire straight of ruts, boy, it looked cool, but it was
I would
a
want that.
handful to ride in, and I guess that's good practice. You can't prepare for that any other way but to ride in it, but um, it just the way the tracks it gets deep. I mean, it's good practice, but
Right.
it's very, you know.
So let's start off with, we did do practice Friday.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of go over some of these people don't do Loretta's stuff. So you pay a separate practice fee, obviously. So Friday's practice day, I think it was $35 to practice.
Yeah, it was $40
okay,
a class.
Okay.
So you can, and yeah, it's $40.
So you only did 2 sessions. They did 3 total.
They did 3 total.
So it's $40 for 3 sessions.
Yep, and you got 15 minutes on the track.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't when you go to a local track, it's normally anywhere from 25 to 40, depending on the day. And you get 4 sessions.
You can't tell me that these places don't take advantage of the Loretta name. Because at $45 a pop per person.
Well, you went from to get in.
To get in, sorry.
Yeah.
To get in.
Yeah.
And then $300 per electric spot.
Well, I think that was $350, and that's what I was also get at.
Yeah,
them same spots.
$30 a night.
$30 a night on any other time you're there.
So, which we did that the one time we went down to practice, and it was $90 for the weekend.
We did it for 2 weekends in a row.
And then it magically goes to $350. You can't tell me you're not trying to capitalize on that. Also, I don't see how that's worth it.
Yeah,
at $350, it'd be easier to run your
small. Pump 110 gallons of fresh water out, I would. I would have took it because it kind of sucked.
I don't. Yeah, it did. It wasn't bad. I mean, luckily MJ gave us gallons of water, and I refilled them and used it for dishwater and stuff. But
I mean, it wasn't ideal, especially in the muddy mess. I would love to wash bikes, but
that, and I wanted to get a shower at the end of the day.
But
yeah, so you did.
Luckily, we showered.
I know.
Friday before we went to bed, and then it was just one night without showering. So,
yeah, so we did practice Friday. You only did 2 sessions because you were just done with the one.
Yeah, I mean, I think most everybody I talked to only did 2 sessions. They either skipped the first one and did the next 2, or did the first 2 and skipped the last one.
They were doing small bikes that day too, right? Like down to PW?
No, not they
not that small.
No, I don't. They didn't have PWs out there.
Okay, I was gonna say you wouldn't. There's no way.
There was no way you're gonna PW around that track.
He'd be buried.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw some of the pictures that people.
I don't know what they did for sure. Well, I only ran part track, so I think there was a whole track 50 class, and I don't know how on Saturday you got a 50 around that entire track.
I didn't watch anything.
I didn't
Saturday.
either. Well, I didn't really either. It was
rainy and miserable.
Miserable.
I stayed inside with Lucas, and
I think I pretty much did. I watched a little bit.
Yeah.
Not very much.
I think you went, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yep.
Because I had to slop through the mess the next day. The next day wasn't as bad. So Sunday you raced. No. You raced plus 40.
The grounds were sloppy, but.
So you raced plus 40 and senior 45 plus. So that's the classes you did.
30 and plus 45.
No, the grounds were a little bit better.
And they got better throughout the
rest
day
of the weekend,
as it dried up.
How was the track compared to Friday?
I was actually real surprised that it didn't seem to me. Sunday. So Sunday when we started, I don't think they did any track work after they were done racing Saturday. There was still ruts in the track. I mean,
you think?
Oh, I can almost guarantee it. I'm sure. I mean, as soon as practice started on Sunday morning, there was still deep ruts everywhere, and now I'm sure when we went up there to sign up in the morning, you could look across the top, and there were still lines. There was no dozer. I don't know if it was just so wet they didn't. I can't really answer that question, but So, and it was, I will say, we did, I was Moto 5 and 15. And
6 and 15.
6 and
I
15.
don't know why I remember that.
And the Moto 6 was my plus 40, and the track was rideable then. You know, yeah, I mean, I had a good start, and that's the whole thing. I got and
No, go ahead.
had a
We can
guy.
talk about it.
Yeah, well, I had a good start in that race. I was fourth through.
This
I don't
was
know,
the first moto,
first
correct?
moto plus 40.
Okay.
Moto 6. I had a decent start. I want to say it was fourth or fifth. I had it all planned out where what lines I was going to take, and
Everybody always has their own lines that
yeah,
they planned out.
I did what I wanted to do, and I drifted out, and two lines kind of came together, and I always come up up
I watched it.
and just wiped us both out,
and
I was mad as fuck.
Yeah,
And then
you
we
were.
got,
You were lucky I didn't go out there and beat the shit out of you.
Listen, you're a tough guy. I was bitching at him, and then we got going, and I was fixing levers. He pulled up next to me and said I took him out. I'm like,
I was like,
how
where?
did I take you out when I was ahead of you?
Yeah.
It's your job to let off.
And then the next,
even if I drift over into your line,
right, I can't see you from behind me.
Then you have to let off. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. So
I don't know who it was. The next lap around, I flipped him off. I know that much. Yeah. I almost went out there when he was trying to pick his bike up and just pushed him over.
You gotta maintain tones.
Well, stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. So that kind of just
that set the day.
That set the day right there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then by the time we got out there for Moto 15, I had thought I saw the worst track I'd ever rode on when we were at Tomahawk for regionals.
Always Tomahawk.
It is always Tomahawk. But that track, there was literally 3-foot deep ruts going up the slip up and stuff. I came in and like in 3-foot ruts through corners and 30, 40 feet out, and then breaking bumps inside the ruts. I'm not crying. When I came in, I literally thought, I don't have the skill to ride a track like that. I can't. You get them taught. Even Matt Jackson was like that track was difficult.
Right, MJ's.
He's a good rider.
Yeah. He did Open Pro Sport and College Boy.
Yeah.
Which we're gonna discuss as well.
But yeah. So that just it didn't really set the day because they did work the track at intermission. They did a good job. The track was way more racy in the second motos.
That was by the time because it was funnier day Sunday. It was nice.
And of course I'm still trying to. When did the whole Open Pro Sport?
That was the second moto. I was going to talk about it after your stuff.
But did they work the track before or after?
Before that.
Well, so they must have worked the track and then did the last chance qualifiers.
Yes.
Okay. Or yeah, I can't even explain what actually happened there.
I can. I know what I understand.
I have. You think you do, but maybe you don't.
I heard the announcing, so I understand it. But let's talk about your motos first.
Oh, and then we're not first though. So we'll talk about that first.
Was it Open Pro Sport or College?
It was Open Pro Sport.
That debacle.
Yeah.
So that was so first of all, how did your senior 45 plus go?
Horrible. That was absolutely.
That's the one I think I left.
That was one where I had. First off, this early season riding for me is never easy. It isn't. I don't.
You rode more in practice than any other season so far, like before the season starts.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just like my confidence level. I don't.
Oh, I can see it.
Though I will say, I think I'm trying to think. When on the start with plus 45, I already had in my head that I wasn't, I wasn't waste time of being out there. just so I didn't really start good, and then the track was, in my opinion, for my skill level, and unrideable.
Right, so you're just
So
challenging against that.
yeah, you're just racing. It's just a challenge, even getting around the track, and then
Yeah, because did you go down on that one?
well, probably 4 or 5 times if I had to guess. I mean,
Or
it was
right. Well, when you're stuck in mud like that and ruts
yeah,
and
just the ruts were
yeah.
yeah. It's
So
hard to describe it. You know, and for anybody who thinks I sound like a whiner, maybe I am, but I challenge you, if you are just a local, if you're just a
it's completely
local
different.
rider, go to one of these
Yeah.
because they can't. Our local tracks, they can't even come close to duplicating.
And do you think that that's on purpose?
I think it's because they don't have the number of riders. I mean, you figure when you go to
No. I mean, like, so Tomahawk, that
oh,
rough track. Do you think they make it rutted like that on purpose because it's for Loretta's qualifier, or that's just how they are?
Well, I think it's their track prep and how they've maintained that track over the
That's
last.
just how it is.
I was told 2 years ago when we went down there for the regional, a lot of locals. I talked to quite a few locals, and they said that he had started adding even more sand and sawdust and mulch to make it rougher, so it was more difficult. It wasn't always like that. I think it's just progressed.
So
I think it's
much.
progressed to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious.
I think as you take, I'm just thinking like even trying to think of one of our tracks that
Pavilion.
pavilion comes to mind where it has down
Any
the
track that
bottom
I
there.
can do means that it's
Well, pavilion will get some like on a race day. You haven't been out there on a race day, but on a race day, it's got the right like in the bottom part where the dirt stays moist more. You'll get some good ruts all through that one sweeping right hand, and then it's the straightaway before that step up, and they get good and deep and stuff. But they're still only quarter of what you saw at Tomahawk.
right.
So
So, where did MJ finish in the first
10-10.
Open Pro Sport? He was 10th.
10th.
Okay.
10-10 on both.
So what happened was, and I stayed back at the camper for this one because it was just wet and muddy, and I just wanted to.
Well, it went back and forth. 1 minute okay, no.
So hold on, let me tell the whole story because I was listening to it on the
radio.
On the radio.
Yeah.
I was listening to the announcer.
Yeah.
And it's a 6-lap moto because it's Open Pro Sport.
Yeah.
This was directly after the Consies.
Well, and I did witness that myself. They ran a pretty much a full gate of 250C last chance qualifiers, and then they were calling Open Pro Sport. They were trying to get it moving right along, so they were calling Open Pro Sport up, and they were all in staging, and then the guy had forgot there was last chance qualifiers. So there was four. It was 450B, I believe. 4 last chance qualifier guys on the gate for 450B, and then they were like, "Well, there's only 4 of you. There's no reason to run this," and they sent them off. That started
right.
Go ahead.
So I was listening to it the whole time on the radio, and they got to lap 3
on the Open Pro Sport.
On the Open Pro Sport, and I heard the announcer say, "Hey, the white flag is out. It's not supposed to be out. Put the flag away." Like he was yelling. He yelled it like 5 times. He's like, "Put the flag away. Put the flag away." And obviously it didn't happen. They finished it.
Yeah.
So they were technically halfway through the moto.
Yeah.
And according to the rules, if that happens, it's done.
And the checkered flag is waved, which it was.
Checkered flag, it was.
And see, and this is
wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. It wasn't white flag. It was
checkered flag. I'm sorry. They threw the I was watching the race, and
I
all of a
heard
sudden
it
the checkered flag comes out for the leader. I'm like,
"Yep."
Are they cutting? And first I thought was, are they cutting all of our motos?
Something,
and
yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't understand why they would be, but maybe we're running a little bit late.
And you can't hear the announcer from down there.
No, from down there. It was in the first corner. And but everybody got the checkered flag. And
so by the rules, it's done. It's null and void at that point.
Well, null and void. It's finished.
Yeah, it's done.
Finished.
But apparently, because it went
this is where
This
all the
is
conspiracy theories come out.
So they said that it was done.
Yeah.
The official said it's done.
Yep.
We're done. But apparently, supposedly,
well, it's not so much supposedly, because I mean it's factual information that this one particular rider,
someone made a phone call.
Well, one particular rider with some influence crashed in the first corner.
Yep.
And was running out of position when all this took place.
Yep. And then their parents made a phone call.
This is all stuff we don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's conspiracy, but we're going to talk about it.
Right.
Like, we don't know the full story.
And multiple.
But it is on.
Multiple sources we're talking about.
But it's strange. It's
it's partially fact inherent, partially multiple just hearsay. It was fact that both the AMA official did say, no, we're not running this again. It's called, and there was multiple families went down and said, why are we calling them back up? This race was over.
And some of them left.
That particular rider that fell in the first corner finished out of position. And they were like the only family going, hey, we need to restart this.
Right. And they were up there first.
Right. And
for the restart of the next one that nobody knew about.
Right. And they, but I don't believe there was any other riders that were complaining about restarting it. They were going, all right, it's
Well, but I think there was quite a few because some people had already left.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it was motos and motos later.
I don't really think there was any other rider that was protesting it being checker flagged.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, I think there was only one.
Yeah, so it was just odd that one person was there
and then
ready to start.
Right. And then that one person
managed to do well in the second moto.
Right. And then when they re-racked them not the way they finished.
Yeah, so when they did gate picks,
like that race never happened.
Yeah, they got up there and they said, just do whatever.
And then this is where I can really understand Matt's frustration, because they ran, of course, so that should have been Moto 1.
They ran Moto.
They ran Moto through. I was Moto 5 or whatever it was, and they ran my Moto. Well, Matt was Moto, I think this Scottsdale was Moto 10, if I remember correctly. By the time they got it
was Moto 9.
Yeah,
they did the second open
he really had to come off the track off.
Yeah.
And then they were telling them they were only going to do a 3-lap race. The 3 laps they missed, and then they ran all 6 laps.
Yep.
So, excuse me. He would have had to run a 6-lap race,
and then do another 3
right into the gate, and then do a 4-lap,
which would be exhausting.
College boy race, and the track was still very technical. It was a lot better than it was, but still very. And
that's why he came in and he said,
"That track is a long." That's one thing I didn't really realize.
It is a big track.
It is a big track. We didn't realize how big it was until we went to Doublin Gap, and that's just that's your normal size.
Yep.
Local track.
No, so something weird happened there, and I disagree with it completely.
I do, only because and
somebody with money.
Multiple people are talking about, it's in the rules. It's the rules. I said, well, yeah, but one thing they'd like to do in every rule book is rules are subject to change by promoters.
For promoter of cash.
Right, promoters for cash.
Yeah. If you have cash, the rules can be subject to change.
Yeah, because
that's exactly that is what Loretta's is.
Oh,
if you have the cash, you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
That's just fact.
Yep.
And if you don't have the cash, you might be lucky enough to get there.
So it does make to me now, it's more just a challenge to say that I did it.
Oh, I agree. I just want to do one and done.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it every year.
You never know. You never know with Lucas, but as far as
I agree,
just want to say I did it, but
because all it is fee after fee after fee after fee, and then here's the thing: you can get through the areas, and then you don't even need to do that. You can just go to the regional and pay your way in.
Just go to the regional, pay your way in. Yeah, I won't do. If I can't get there in an area, I'm not going there.
I'm half tempted to just say fuck it.
Because if you can't do it through an area, then you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, so that was
there is or not.
That was a frustrating area qualifier.
Yeah.
It was just a shit weekend. It was spring weather and miserable and not fun.
Yeah.
And then we did
4-hour ride home.
Yeah. And then
Doublin Gap the very next weekend.
We did Doublin Gap last weekend.
Yeah, the very next weekend.
The weather wasn't too bad.
Well, it was beautiful. Was for the most part really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, no, there was a little bit of rain and a lot of wind the one night.
Yeah, I will
But
say I really like that
it's
facility.
a very nice facility.
Yeah, it's very well kept. There's no like junk
And I
anywhere.
didn't, one we had never been at, never even thought of, never even really. It's kind of
Is it 3.5 hours?
3.5 hours. Yeah, maybe just over 3.
Yeah, because I watched you and Lucas was playing on the
Yeah,
playground, and
so
they
it
have nice
was,
swings there you
yep,
can swing
nice,
on.
real nice.
Yeah.
Paved entrance
Yeah,
and
yeah, they have the paved electrical spots.
yep.
I don't know how much they charged for those. That
I
was
don't. It wasn't as much as
no.
Tomahawk.
I think normally they were like
I want to say they're about half price of what
it's not
Tomahawk
bad.
was. Yeah, I
A
want to say
little bit upward, but not too bad.
yeah, a little bit more than what we, even Area 51. We figure at more than 80 or 90, it's not worth.
After $100, it's not worth it.
Yeah, we don't think. I mean, that's just our opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doublin Gap we decided to do Doublin Gap
Yep.
the very next weekend, and that didn't go as planned either.
It did not.
You're gonna have this is why it's called racing and not winning. I
No,
mean,
but I was so frustrated with you.
I think I was went into that weekend more defeated and less confidence than I did.
Only because I knew Tomahawk was just so challenging for anybody that I was like, this is gonna be hard. So when it came to Double Gap, I was like, okay, we're kind of back to normal now and how
Well,
we're
let's also
racing.
keep in mind the one and only time I had been to Double Gap before this,
You
I
knocked
knocked
yourself
myself out.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago.
That wasn't
Like a month
a
ago.
month ago.
Maybe. Yeah, he literally. So we went to.
We were at Tomahawk.
We were at
for a
Tomahawk for
weekend
practice. And MJ called me, I
Yeah,
think, and was like,
yeah.
"Hey, we're going to Double Gap Sunday," and I was like, "Well, fuck it. We'll get up and get going in the morning,
Yeah.
and then we're like an hour closer to home. We might as well." And
That
then,
was our thought process.
and we knew we have a qualifier there. We might as well. So we get there. I was actually down at the little track with Lucas
Yeah.
during this time, like helping him practice. And I got back because he wanted a break, and they were like, "Matt, knocked his head." I was like, "What do you mean knocked his head? I've been gone for 20 minutes." So I was like, and you for a solid half hour, you were like, "Where are we? How did we get here?
Yeah.
We were at another track this weekend." Like you literally asked the same like 6 questions the whole time.
And
We asked you who the current president was, and you couldn't answer.
I was trying to think back to better times.
And that scared me because I was like, "Oh God!" And luckily, Brock's fiance is a nurse, so I like pulled her aside and I was like, "Okay, should I start panicking? Is everything okay?"
Yeah.
She was like, "No, he seems like he's like getting back to it." She was like, we just need to watch out for like throwing up or passing out." Or
I don't know.
something like that.
It was one of the probably one of the only times I don't remember. To this day, I don't remember what happened.
Maybe
either.
it's for the best.
I didn't, and couldn't have been a bad wreck. The bike was just fine. John rode it the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get anything else. There was nothing else even ached. I mean, there was no. So I must
Yeah, because
have.
then, you said your neck hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I don't.
Yeah, you told us your neck hurt.
Yeah, maybe right then, but it didn't. The next day, there was no pain from it.
Yeah, because then this little jerk was like, "I'm gonna go back out," and we were like, "Yeah, no, that's not it."
But anyway, so and we went down again Friday. We left Thursday night, got down there Friday. Got a nice spot. Thing was Friday practice. Did all 3 rounds practice. That track's fun. It's a lot. It's a lot shorter.
Yeah. Yep. It's nicer to watch because I can see a lot.
Yeah,
more.
it's a lot shorter. It's more of a normal track we'd ride at.
Yep.
Friday practice went good. I felt decent on the bike on Friday.
And then we had another day, like Saturday. We had nothing.
Was able to do a lot of watching.
Yeah. That's when it was windy. Saturday we had that wind that came through that night.
Yep.
That was like,
but it was warm. It was nice.
It was like
65,
70 degrees.
Yeah.
Then Sunday it was freezing.
Then Sunday it cooled back down, but it was still sunny and nice.
I was frozen to death.
And I get on the gate and just zero confidence. That's
why.
I don't know. I don't know. I just I don't know. I'm not. I don't know, really hard to explain because
Because that's why I get frustrated because I've watched you be here,
yeah.
and then now we're down to
I
here.
feel like even with the riding at Tomahawk, even when we were there riding for practices, I never really felt, and I think we didn't end last season on a very high note. Really,
No, we didn't. Area 51 is when it went downhill.
Well, yeah, went from Area
Can-Am.
51 for Can-Am and just downhill from there.
Yep.
It's so I just didn't end the season with confidence and feeling great on the bike. Still on that 23, still working to get it more comfortable and actually suspensions that's a sponsor. We should one of my John or my suspension guy from Binghamton. He doesn't really have his own place, so
I was going to say, what's
know.
the name?
Yeah, I know, but I know he'd be interested in getting more people. If anybody's interested, hit us up and I'll
Yeah,
put him
we'll
your
give
way.
you
He's
his
a really
info.
good
He's in
guy.
Binghamton.
Is very knowledgeable and doesn't charge an arm and a leg. He's very affordable.
No, yeah.
So, but still working to get the bike more comfortable. Luckily he was there and watched Sunday for the first motos and gave me an idea of some adjustments to make, and it did help tremendously in the second moto.
Okay.
But I just wasn't, just not comfortable. And then that's one thing I will say. Well, I had to start in the first moto. Next to last.
Well, so we've been a couple of days before. Garrett came up and helped you with starts, and based off it, like you keep dumping it.
Well, the last start we did, practice start, because of course we said, we're not going to be done. We're not done doing these practice ones until you get a good one.
A good one, yeah.
And I did my last one was great.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go first moto and dump the clutch.
Like 70 things you got to remember.
Yeah, but dump the clutch and get a terrible start, and then your bottle, and then there was 19 guys, and
because I watched you go down in that first corner.
I got bottled up behind a bunch of guys that were slower, and then I got hit from behind, and then we went down.
And then swore up and down. So that whole starting gate hurt me. Swear.
So
man.
Ran around, and I mean, by the time me and him got untangled from each other, they were coming back around. I mean, we were.
Oh yeah, you were on. By the end, you were almost lapped.
I didn't get lapped.
No,
one guy did in front of me, but finished. Yeah, I was 17th, I think, in that 18th in that first moto, and so
there were 5 who were not qualifying ahead of you.
Right.
So technically, it was a 13th.
Well, as far as where on stuff goes, but then then John. That's the only thing that now I'm looking forward to riding. Like I said, he's got my suspension, but he gave me an idea of some things to do to settle the bike down. Went back out the second moto, but same thing. I didn't execute. Dumped the clutch, like rode a wheelie, and then.
But instead of grabbing the clutch, you grabbed the brake.
I didn't grab the brake. I just let the gas off, and then it went down and went to stall, and ended up next to last or last. Into the first corner, and I worked.
Spoiler was much better.
And I rode, and so I was going to get to me if you
give me a
second. Rode really good. Was really happy with my. And when I came off, I knew I hadn't qualified, but I felt a lot. My confidence was coming. I just felt like it actually had like, holy, okay, you can ride because I was 19 guys and last round of the first corner, and I rode up to 11th, and then one guy got me back. He really smart, and then the last rhythm section, he got beside me. I was up the middle, and he rode underneath me and took my line away going to the last corner, and he got 12th. He got 11th back, so I ended up 12th. Yeah. But I was like, holy shit, okay, I can ride, so should be Florida room this weekend.
Yeah, because we're doing Room Tailgate next weekend. And then we started on Empire races.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. I think it's Pavilion is first.
I think they've got a practice in there that's not, but maybe not.
Of course, they don't have their stupid schedule up on the website. It's only on Facebook, I think. Oh, they finally put it up. Yeah, Pavilion 423.
Okay.
And then that's a race. That's the Ultra Series.
Right, but no, see, you're wrong. Broome is, So I think it's off a weekend, and then Broome is the first, and that's with CNY. It's a dual district with CNY at Broome.
Right. Broomtag was the 16th.
That's not a dual district with Empire. That's
Yeah, I didn't
just
say that. I said
right.
the weekend
That's what I'm
after.
saying.
The weekend after is
Okay.
Pavilion.
Yep. It's Pavilion
The Alter
423.
Series.
Ultra
And then
Series.
Area 51 is at the end of the month.
Okay. All right.
So we
Yep.
have Broome, Pavilion, Area
And I
51.
know we're not sure. Yeah, we've got to figure that out because we may do Mideast, depending on riding and starts and
That's not
how
till
I'm
May.
feeling. Yeah, that's right there, and yeah, it's like, oh, if anything, it'll work out for the rain date weekend. I don't remember what it was. We're gonna go. I
Mhm.
don't remember what I said, but a Mideast race qualifier.
Yeah, and I would like to hit up. I mean, maybe I'll practice at Pavilion because I've done that one before.
Yeah.
Depending on how rainy it is.
Yeah.
If it's rainy, I won't do it.
But
But hopefully we'll have you doing it, and I would like to get Lucas riding in the next one
mhm,
because he's been doing pretty good riding the little bike.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think
well,
once he gets around other kids, once he gets around other kids, he
yeah.
seems to be a little
This
more.
weekend is probably our only off weekend for a long time.
Yes.
I'm gonna do some serious track maintenance and haul some stuff, some dirt
We
and
have a lot
stuff
to do.
in. Yeah.
We have
So our
track maintenance
practice,
and camper maintenance.
I don't really know what
There's a bunch. There's a
camper
couple.
maintenance.
Well,
do,
I have
but,
to do camper maintenance.
gonna do some of our own practice track maintenance so we can,
Mm.
especially it does work good for me to ride on, but it's even better for you and Lucas. So
Yeah. Definitely. So right now, so we do the tracking of the expenses still. This year I'm doing more. I'm doing on top of like each weekend's track fees and practice fees and entrance, all that stuff. What the camper costs, as well as like graphics, gear, parts, things like that. So as of the last qualifier, we're up to 2,600 just about for the season so far.
yeah, it's the Loretta stuff is just
We're on week 2 of race.
yeah, it's it is a money grab. It
Yeah.
really is. I mean, I don't think anybody denies it.
So besides travel costs,
you listen to the Kiefer podcast, like we do, and
I don't know how they do it.
I mean, he's right out in front about it too. I mean, it's just a money grab.
Because I mean, so without any travel costs, it's about 300 a weekend. That doesn't include our camper. That doesn't include our gas. That doesn't
Right.
include propane. That doesn't include food.
That's
Nothing.
just fees. That's
That's
track
just fees to race.
Yeah.
So you're looking at probably 600 or 700 with our
yeah.
camper and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I mean, I know Kiefers don't have a camper, so they pay for a hotel, and
Right.
so that's like $1,000 a weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people say, some of the people we were talking to, they say it all kind of washes as far as that goes. I don't know. I guess maybe it washes if your camper's if you bought and paid for, maybe then it washes. I don't really know, but
Yeah, no,
if
I
you're
don't
already
see how that
paying for a
washes.
camper, then
Yeah,
I don't know how it could be a wash if you got to pay for a hotel. But
no, I
I
don't
don't.
see how that would either.
That's not my.
Yeah.
That's-
No, it's just like it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's racked up so far.
Yep.
And we haven't, really done much. So yeah, we'll be at Broome and then Pavilion and then Area 51, and then from there we're gonna see what we're doing from there.
Oh, we're not sure. We're definitely, we're 98% of the time doing Empire races.
No, I'm talking about Loretta's.
Well, Loretta's far as Loretta's goes, somewhere in there. We're not sure where we're gonna. Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the track we were tentatively talking about going to for the Mideast qualifier.
Briarcliff.
Briarcliff, that's what it was. And then the only kind of cool thing about the Mideast stuff is the regionals at Redbud. So though that would be 7.5.
That's a long drive.
Oh, where did I see it? Was that 7.5?
Is that in July or June?
I think it's June.
Okay.
And I think that's 7.5 hours to there.
Because this year as well, you have to remember that. So August, if we go to Loretta's, like there's a week for that. But then in August we also go on our cruise. So we have like in August is pretty much done.
It's gonna be
like we have nothing going on. August is full already.
Yeah. So
Yep. So we will be back in 2 weekends after we go to Broome to Yoga, and we'll report from there and see how that goes. And that track is up for sale,
we'll be
correct?
back. Yeah, Room Tide is up for sale.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We're doing podcasts every week again, correct? So we'll be back on here next week.
Well, with what?
Well, with what, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, after Broome to Yoga, like I said,
we're
yeah.
back for season 2, and we're gonna take a weekend off.
Well, it is.
But we don't really have.
It's very early.
It's early, and we don't really. Yeah, it's hard to. I guess maybe if we did line someone up, maybe we could do one, but we'll see.
So.
All
right. Well, until next time.
Yeah. Peace out.
Peace out.